Frozen spinach is fine, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but not for me. Because there's too much water already in frozen spinach. You want to use fresh spinach. And it's so easy to cook fresh spinach, right, Chef?
Absolutely.
Don't use any water, I just put it in a pan with the water that's been rinsed on its leaves, let it roll down, bingo, you've got wilted spinach. But spinach is what? 90% water. And water is the enemy of gnocchi, because the more water you have in the dough, the tougher it's going to be. You're going to have to add more flour. So you want to err on the side of drier, not wetter. So with that information, we can make gnocchi, right?
Yes.
And can you hear us back there? Because we're going to have to get you hold the microphone. All right, so first you want to start on a wood board, or you could do this in a bowl, but that's the windy way. The more exciting way is to do it on a wood board. I always tell people this, you know, in your kitchen, if you're really serious about making pasta, you can't do it on ceramic, and you can't do it on stainless steel, because it's too slippery. You need something that has grab, and wood has grab. So that's why you always see in videos about people in Italy who are making pasta, it's always on a wood board. So you want to keep that in mind when you're making any kind of pasta, really. So we have our wood board here. You want to put some flour down. We have our potatoes. So for this recipe, we use 3 Yukon Gold medium-sized potatoes. That's all relevant. Because as I always say, a recipe is only a guide. Because you may need to add a little bit more flour. You may need to add less, depending on how big that potato was, right? So we have, imagine this is the 3, right? We have 3 riced potatoes. After you cook them, you don't want to use a food processor to get them soft and smooth. Because if you do that, you're going to break down the whole cell structure of the potato, and you're going to wind up with glue. So you want to use a ricer or mash them by hand. Now, there's a lot of theories about when to use the potato after it's cooked. And my suggestion to you is forget boiling the potatoes. I just poke them, put them in the microwave. Already I have less water, right? Because if I boil them, I've added all that water now to the potatoes. The better way to do this is to poke them with a fork, stick them in the microwave, and just cook them until they're baked. Then you let them cool. A lot of chefs in Italy like to do the potatoes when they are cold. So they'll spread them out on like a baked sheet, put them in the refrigerator to get cold. Others like to do it immediately while the potatoes are warm. I don't really see a difference between the two. So these potatoes are now just right at room temperature. And I just washed my hands in the ladies' room in case you want to know. So, I'm going to put the potatoes down on the board. On a flour board. So there are the potatoes. And now we have spinach. Here's our spinach. And it's chopped, finely chopped. We add that to the potatoes. You want about a cup. And you just want to mix that in with your hands. I want a little salt with this. And the reason I like to use the Yukon is, first of all, I like the color of the Yukon Gold. Now, you can see already that I have something that holds together. Maybe you can't see this in the back. But I already have something that holds together, so I know I do not want to add a lot of flour to this. And now we have an egg. So you make a little hole there. You can do this in a bowl, as I said. This is 1 egg or 2? 2. We only want 1. So that's 1 egg. And so now you mix all this together. And then you start adding your flour. I'm usually not used to cooking with a microphone in front of my face. Okay, so now the flour. Now, this is where we have to do this a little bit at a time. So put about like a 1/4 of a cup there. Okay. So we have a 1/4 cup of flour. Now, everything about pasta is in the hands. every time. There's no recipe for making pasta. You will know it's right when it feels right in your hands. It's not sticking. Come on, come on. And you keep going. You can do that away from it. Keep going. Still more. Until you have a dough that isn't sticking to your hands. A little bit more. Okay, when you think you have enough, do we have a bench knife?
I get it.
When you think the dough is just right, instead of forming them all, what I do is test one or two. So, as soon as I get a bench knife, I'll show you what that is. I think we still need a little bit more flour. The mistake that you don't want to make is forming them all and then putting them in boiling water. So a bench knife is a tool like this, which is really good for turning pasta and doughs for pizza, anything that's doughy. All right, so now I have a ball of dough, and I have boiling water. So I take a little bit, and I just make a little ball, like that. Is the water boiling? Mm-hmm. And I dump it in there. If that holds together, I know that I have enough flour, right? Then I can go on and make the rest of the gnocchi. If it falls apart, then I know I need to add more flour. So how's it doing?
Looks pretty good, Chef.
When we make gnocchi, they should really bob to the top in a minute or two, not more than that. And my suggestion to people is, if you're going to make a lot of gnocchi, you make them and do not freeze them. Do not freeze them as you make them. Freeze them after they're cooked. After they're cooked, because if you freeze them now, before they're cooked, when you take them out and you want to cook them, what's going to happen? Kelly? Water. They're going to all disintegrate because you're going to bring down the temperature of that water, the boiling water, and now you're going to have a potato soup. So remember that. So where is it?
Looks great.
All right, so you see? Held together. So now we know that we can go on and make all of the gnocchi. And they're going to be light because we used very little flour. That was what, about a half a cup of flour total. All right, so I'm going to wash my hands first, and you're going to show them the ball of dough that we rested. So once you have this, you really want to let that rest for about 20 minutes, just so that the flour can absorb all of that moisture that's in there. And then we will go ahead and form it. So let me go wash my hands. And where's the sink? Questions? Okay, so now what we want to do is that we want to cut this up into small pieces and work with small pieces at a time. So I just cut them up, I leave them on floured surface, under a bowl, and I work with one piece at a time. Okay. So what you want to do is now make a log. Again, I'm telling you to do this on a wood board because this is what's going to give you control. So you roll them out. Now you can make these as fat or as thin as you want to. And gnocchi, like all pasta, is a first course in Italy. It's never the course. It's always the first course. So if you're going to eat like an Italian, you eat pasta, rice, soup. Those are first courses. And then your second courses are meat, fish, poultry, that kind of thing. So then, once you have your rope like this, then you cut it up into small pieces. You can do half inch, however big you want to make them. We'll make them pretty large, sure. Okay, so there they are. I dust them a little bit with flour. Now, there's two ways to do this. In my bag, if you're really serious, you use one of these. You ask for one of these for Christmas, right? Okay. And what I usually do is I flour the gnocchi board like that. And then it's a matter of creating that ridge. See the ridge on the outside, and then you got a little cave on the inside. Now, why is that? Well, the little cave is there to trap the sauce. So I'm making these fairly large so you can see them. But you have the little ridges outside to trap sauce, and you have the little cave on the underside to trap sauce. So you just keep going, making these one at a time. After a while, you get the hang of it, and you can go very fast. And then I line them up on a clean tray, flour lined. And when I have all of them done, that's when I cook them. And I cook them. We're going to show you what kind of sauce we're going to use with this one. Then I cook them. I put them on a buttered, like an aluminum foil, what do you call it? Pans, yeah. And I put them in the freezer. They're all cooked. So then when I want them, all I have to do is take them out, let them defrost, and toss them in the sauces, which would be done in a saute pan. So that's very easy. So who's here visiting, did you say? Who's here visiting? Your grandmother.
My grandmother.
Come on up here, Grandma. Come on. We're going to show you that you can do this too. It's not just me. You can feel. Good. Does it feel nice? It's not sticking to your hands?
No,
Chef did a great job with that. Okay, that's good. Now you want to cut some. Use that bench.
Now about one.
Yeah, however big you want to make.
Okay.
Yeah, very good, very good. Then you want to just give them a little flour, and kind of toss them around. All right, just fluff them up. Okay. Not too hard with your hands. Okay, so now you've got that. Where's our gnocchi board? Here it is. I'm going to give these a little flour. Now you can find these in any kitchenware stores. Okay, so now you hold this at an angle, and you take those gnocchi and you just you're going to use your thumb. Just your thumb. No, just the thumb. Like this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That's it. See that? Okay, keep going. Keep going. Now you put on Johnny Cash, and you're making 1,000 of these in just 10 minutes. Okay, good. See? You got it. All right, easy, right? Okay, good. All right. Okay, you can sit down now.